Hello, so following on from the mobility part 1 of level 1 Pilates. Sorry, my brain's a bit slow this morning when I'm filming this. We're going to move now into our workout. So we are going to start on our knees. So if you have knee issues, you can either take a blanket, roll it over, or a towel, or if you've got a block, you may want to use your block. Or you may just want to just rest on the knees. I've got 2 mats underneath here, so that's quite comfortable. Otherwise, you can be on your block. So if you are on your block, your legs are going to be a little bit narrower. Toes flat to the floor behind you, hands across the chest, neutral spine in place, core engaged. And all we're going to do is gently come back by 30 degrees and then come forward. So as you come back, you're going to feel that into the front of the thighs. And we're breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in without falling over. So nice and steady. Last 4. Last 1. Stay in there. Let your hands come down by side. You've still got that tuck under, that natural pelvis, that neutral pelvis position, core engaged. This time I'm going to come off my block to do this next exercise. So I'm nice and tall. Hands are on the hips. My toes are pointing. I'm just going to lift one and down. Lift one and down. So lift. So if you can point the toes. Nice and steady. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. You're going to feel that into the back of the thighs. Tailbone in neutral. To remind myself, do it automatically tilting. It's my posterior tilt, which is my more comfortable bad posture. So be conscious. Have a mirror about as you're doing this if you can. So, last 4. And when I say 4, I mean 1 on each side equals 1. That's 3. So last 2. So the right, then the left. The right, last on. Left and relax. Gently come over onto all 4s. Hands beneath the shoulders, knees beneath the hips, elbows soft. So we want to push the tailbone towards the back of the room, draw the shoulder blades slightly together. Elbows are slightly soft, eyes and nose are looking down to the floor. Let us begin by looking over the right shoulder and tilting the right bum cheek towards the right shoulder and then bringing it back. And then do the same to the left. So look over the left shoulder, left cheek tilts, and then bring it back. So you inhale as you look over, exhale as you come back. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Nice and steady. Core engaged all the time. Let's have 1 more to the right, 1 more to the left. And we're on that third floor of our pelvic floor, remember. Bring it back. Gently come back onto the bottom if you can, or just like so, roll the wrists in one direction and then the opposite direction. Roll them into a fist, roll the wrist, release. Roll, release. Roll, release. Take a deep breath. As you exhale, come back onto all 4s. Elbows soft. This time lumbar tuck, so tailbone towards the back of the room, shoulder blades together, tuck under and up, tuck under and up. Bringing that movement into the lower back, the sacrum, the lumbar. Nice and steady, controlled. So taking our time, elbows soft. looking down, never looking in front, never looking under. Just for 4 and 3 and 2 and 1 and relax. Again, gently come back. Roll the wrists again. Remember, you can be resting on the heels or upright. It's what feels comfortable for you. Just roll those wrists again. Roll them into a fist. Roll them out. Roll them in. Roll them out. Very gently coming onto all fours. Hands beneath the shoulders, elbows soft. Remembering, if we've got wrist issues, we can rest on the knuckles, but that means your table's going to be at a slight angle. Or you could place a rolled up towel. If you have a rolled up towel, you want the palm of your hands and your fingers resting on the towel, so it gives softness there, and that takes the stress out of the wrist joint. So I'm going to go for my knuckles this time. So when you're on your knuckles, the softness in your elbow is still really important, because it's quite easy to, once you're on your knuckles, to lock out and keep them there, but there's got to be that softness there. So this time, all we're going to do is we're going to take opposite arm and leg out, tap the floor. Like you see, I tilt in, keep the hips and pelvis level, and then bring it back. So don't lift it off the floor, focus on just taking it out with control. So are the shoulders staying level? Are the hips staying level? Are you tilting to one side more than the other? Eyes and nose are looking down. If you're tilting to one side, you may need to make your range smaller. So you don't take your arm or your leg out as far behind you or in front. If you're feeling confident, then begin to lift and down. It's just opposite arm, opposite leg. Nice and steady. Inhale. Exhale. Let's have one more on the right, one more on the left. Last one. And then relax. Come over onto your bottom. And just sit with your legs crossed or legs expanded, whatever's comfortable for you. Just take one hand, gently push the hand slightly back, and then push it the other way. And then push back. And then push the other way. And relax, shake them out. Okay, into mermaid position. So, have your legs to one side if you can. So remember, with this, we've got alternatives. So we're aiming to kind of have the legs like the Isle of Man sign. Okay, so we've got one in front, one behind, but this can be uncomfortable for people. We're aiming to have both bum cheeks on the floor, but I can't get both bum cheeks on the floor, so don't worry if it's not there. So if this posture, especially you tend to feel it more in this back hip, it can feel really uncomfortable, then you can either do this with your legs crossed or your legs extended out in front, okay? So it's up to you. So one hand to the side, take a deep breath, pelvis lifted, abdominal belt in place, take a deep breath in. As we exhale, we slide out, and as we slide out, the arm comes over the top, and then we bring it back using our core to lift. Then come over to the opposite side. So coming over, sliding. Everybody's range of movement is going to be different on this. You can take that arm further away each time. You could even maybe come down onto the forearm if you wish. So nice and steady. So if we wanted to come a bit further, we can. We're going to make it more challenging, especially as you lift up, because we want to keep that control. We want the movement coming from the core. And nice and steady, breathing in. Breathing out. Taking our time. have just 2 more of these. This will be our last one where we go over. So we get that lateral flexion, stability, core work, all going on. And relax. Okay, sitting with your legs long in front of you, and at this point you may want to take a block or a hard back book to go underneath your low back, especially if you've got any issues. I'm going to do this on a side view. So whenever we are sat on the block, or if we're sat on a cushion or a hard back book, we want the soft part of our bum on the edge of the block, or on the block, and the bones of the bum at the edge. So legs are nice and long, shoulder blades are back and down. Forearms facing up, so palms facing up, shoulder blades back and down. All we're going to do is dumb waiter, so we open up and close. So open up, keeping that posture nice and tall. I'm just turning to face you so I can actually do this because the wall's in the way. So nice and steady. Remember, when we're done waitering, we're working on opening up the shoulders. So if we've had shoulder impingements, rotator cuff injuries, maybe little spares in the shoulders, or maybe you're quite rounded in the shoulders, this is a really good exercise to perform to help this space. So we're breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. 2 more. Last one. Relax it down. This time, scapular retractions. So we take our arms out in front. Imagine you've got a beach ball and you're just holding it in your hands. All we're going to do is draw those shoulder blades together as if they're trying to have a good smooch. That beach ball's going to expand a little bit, and then we're going to pull the shoulder blades apart. So we draw them together and then pull apart. So the arms, the shoulders are moving, but the only place this movement is coming from is actually the shoulder blades that's making that movement. So again, this is really good for opening up the shoulders, opening up the scapula, the shoulder blades. So nice and steady. I feel like my face says I'm in pain as I do this. I don't find this a particularly pleasant exercise. So 2 more. Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, and relax. Roll your shoulders up and down. So just roll them up one way and then roll them the other way. Nice and steady. Perfect. Take your arms out to the side, palms facing down, shoulders relaxed, shoulder blades in the pockets, and imagine you're just patting someone on the head. I always feel like this when you do this, it's like a little patronising pat on the head. Not that you ever probably do patronising pats on the head, but nice and steady. I feel this is what my brother used to do to me as a child, pat me on the head. So just gentle movement, controlled. We've still got that tailbone tucked under, pelvic floor lifted, abdominal connection going on, just for 4, 3, 2, 1. Turn the palms forward and just a little push forward as if you're just gently pressing on someone's back. Nice and steady. Just for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax. Again, roll the shoulders. Roll. Roll them forward. Roll them back. Nice and steady. And relax. We're going to come over onto our backs. So we can come off our block, put that to the side. You may want your cushion to rest your head on, that's completely your choice. If we've got back issues, we just roll onto our side, one hand across, gently coming down to the forearm, and then come over onto being on your back. So as we lay on our back, our feet are hip distance apart, hands are just resting by the side of the bottom, and we want our feet directly beneath our knees. We should have neutral spine, so for most of us, that's having a slight little hollow in the back. If you've got a flat back, it might mean that your full spine is in contact with the mat, but you'll be aware of that if you've got a flat back. So take a note of where your eyes are. They should be looking straight up, not behind, not in front. If we're looking behind, nod the chin. If we're looking in front, lift the chin. And all we're going to do is just begin to gently imprint the spine. So we're going to tuck the tailbone up towards the ceiling. As we tuck that tailbone, the lower back's going to imprint into the mat. Then the mid back, then the upper back. We then release the upper back, the mid back, the lower back, and we come back to that natural curve. So we imprint, whole of the spine is making its way along the mat, there's no space, and then bringing it back. And we're inhaling as we imprint and exhaling as we release. So this is getting the synovial fluid pumping, it's strengthening, so we're lubricating, strengthening all at the same time. We don't have to go big to be effective. And this, as I always say, is one of my favourites because it's so simple, but it really does make such a difference. You're working the pelvic floor, you're working the deep abdominal muscles, the deep back muscles. There's so much going on. So nice and steady. I feel like I've laid down and I suddenly feel really tired. Nice and steady, controlled. So last 4. Last 3. Last 2. And last 1. And then bring it to neutral. Gently bring one leg up and have it 90 degrees if you can. So we want the knee over the hip bone. And we want to have this leg here, the lower part of the leg, the shin, as if it's a table. So if I came and placed a tray on there, it would just sit quite nicely. Now if we have sciatica issues, we're just going to let the foot be how it naturally feels it should be. If we don't have sciatica issues, we're going to just draw the toes slightly towards the chest. Bring your fingers onto your hip bones at this point and your thumbs onto your ribs. So you've got that square awareness. Eyes are looking up to the ceiling. We're going to gently push up towards the ceiling and then bring it back. Now this is option 1, so pushing up to the ceiling, having that extension up to the ceiling is option 1. If you wanted, you could take it a little bit more out on a diagonal and then come back. So cores engaged, nice and steady. So we're either going out to that diagonal or we're going straight up. Either way, you're going to feel this working in the thigh. So cores engaged. We want to be breathing in, breathing out. And being conscious that the leg is coming back to 90 degrees. So again, as I've mentioned before, always good to have a mirror nearby whilst you're doing this. Obviously I'm filming myself and I can see myself on the screen, and it makes me aware of, like, sometimes, like when I first came back, my leg wasn't quite at that 90 degrees, my shin was at an angle. So it allows you to be more conscious, nice and steady, of what's going on. And that's really important when there's no one there to adjust you, for you to become more conscious in your body and your movement. So let's have 2 more. Last one. Bring it down. Gently bring your knees together, feet together. Keep your fingers on the hips, thumbs on the ribs, and gently just roll side to side. So the knees are just coming over side to side. Just do a 5 past 2 and a 5 to 2. If you want to go a little bit further, please do. You can do, if it feels okay in your back, in your body. And then gently bring it back. Turn your heels out, feet out. We've got our hip distance apart again. Opposite leg comes into position, so we'll let 90 degree. If we've got active sciatica, we let our foot just be relaxed. Otherwise, we're just gently drawing the toes slightly towards the chest. 90 degree angle. We're either pushing straight up or out at an angle. So whatever feels right for you. Inhaling as you push out. Exhaling as you bring it in. pelvic floor engaged. Nice and steady. Controlled. Last two. And last one. Gently bring it down. Feet together, knees together, and that little 5-2-5 past. If you want to go further, you can do. A little bit of rotation there. And then coming back to the centre, turn the feet out, heels out, hip distance apart. Take both arms up above the chest, palms facing forward. Okay, so they're going to be just above the chest, palms are facing forward, shoulders relaxed, shoulder distance apart. This time all we're going to do, we should have that neutral spine position. We take one arm back and one arm forward. Now being conscious, this arm coming forward, we don't really need to worry about any issues going on, but this arm coming back, what can happen is if we come too far with this arm, excuse me, the rib cage is going to begin to lift, the chest is going to start to lift. We don't want that. So I can feel here, I'm lifting in my rib cage. So my position is about here. I can feel that my body's staying in neutral position at this point. So all we're going to do, as if swimming backstroke, is take the arms back and forth, but be really conscious of that arm as you come back, that it's not going too far, and that you're not getting that lift in the rib cage, you're not beginning to arch higher in the spine, because it's not about how far you go that's effective. Remember, it's form and technique that gets us results. And we're breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. Always with that lateral breath, breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. It's not yoga. We're just breathing into the rib cage. So in yoga, we're obviously breathing deeper into the belly. So last two, last one. Bring both arms back down, place the fingers on the hip bones, thumbs on the ribs, knees together, feet together. This time, we're going to gently take both knees out to the side, keep those hips, think of them as like the headlights of a car, they need to keep facing up towards the ceiling. So taking the knees out, and then imagine, I think we did this last week, imagine you've got a big ball between the legs, and then you're squeezing that ball back. It's really, really tiring. It's really, really hard. We bring the knees back together, and then we take it out again. And we go nice and slow. So we're not letting momentum, I say momentum, it's our own minds that's creating that momentum, but we want to have control. We're slowing it right down. Imagine you're pressing against, and you will feel the difference. So nice and steady, controlled. And then again, taking it out, slow and steady. have to excuse me today. I've laid down. I feel like I could just close my eyes and fall asleep. I may say that every week. I don't know. Just so tired. I did have nightmares last night, so I don't think I had a restful sleep. You know, I don't know if anybody ever has those dreams where their husband really annoys them in the dream, and then you wake up and you actually still feel really annoyed with them. Nice and steady, controlled. Sometimes you wake up and you're like, oh, I'm really annoyed with you today. And it's like, it's just a dream, Gemma. It's just a dream. It didn't really happen. I know, but I still feel those feelings. So nice and steady. Sorry, I'm waffling. I'm very good at waffling. Okay, last one. And then relax. We're rolling over onto our side now. So we've got options here. We can lay with our arm long and have, so like so, obviously on this side, or if you've got shoulder issues, lay with the head just resting on the mat. Take your legs nice and long, so you're a nice straight line. You can have one hand in front, on the hip, or down the body. What we want is to make sure that we're not rocking forward and we're not rocking back. The likelihood in this posture is that you're more likely to rock forward. That's what's going to feel more natural. Your gravity is going to pull you forward. So we want to keep the hips level, keep the shoulders level, and keep the ankles and knees level. Now, having a hand on the hip can help you feel and keep that stability, but it does make it a little bit more challenging on your balance than having your hand down. This top leg, imagine someone is pulling this leg away. So they're trying to make it longer. Once you've done that, you should feel like you've got we're talking a smidgen, not even a smidgen, a tiny, tiny little bit of hollowing underneath. Then all we're going to do is flex the foot that's on top. We're going to lift it up and then bring it down. And it's only coming up to hip height and then down. So we're inhaling, exhale, and it's staying flexed if we've got no sciatica issues. So nice and steady. Inhale, exhale, and being conscious that that foot and those toes are facing forward. We don't want a rotation out because that's going to change what's going on in the muscles. So just nice and steady. And you should be feeling that a little bit along the side, maybe a little bit into the glutes. Last 3. Last 2. Last 1. Hold it here. Can we make a little circle forward? Core strong. You may want to take your hand to your hip, keep that stability, and change direction. Ooh, 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 ooh. And then hold, bring it down, nice and steady. This time, flex both feet. And we're just going to lift them up and lift them down. Lift them up and lift them down. Just for 8. And 7, 6, it's not a huge movement, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, bring it down. This time that top foot that's still flexed, lift it up, just take it in an opposite direction circle, because I don't think we did. Or if I did, I'm making you work it twice, so you can just relax for a few moments and I'll just work it twice. So I don't think I did. Just for 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Bend both knees, give them a pat, give them a rub. Now, if you've got your arm extended long, can we bring it so that you're resting on your shoulder and you've maybe got a cushion on a block or a cushion on a hard back book or 2 cushions and you're resting on the side? Let's bring our legs as if we're sat on our chair, okay? So they're just at 90 degrees, the ankles are below the knees are in front of the hips, and we're just holding it there. Take one hand on top of the other and we're just going to do bow and arrow, okay? So, nice and steady, core engaged. Be conscious that as you take this top hand down, you want them in the same place, you're not sort of dropping the chest and the shoulder over, okay? We still want to be keeping the shoulders stacked, the hips stacked. So all we're going to do is then slide as if you're pulling on that bow, slide it along, and then slide it forward. And we're just doing 8 of these, okay? So nice and steady, inhaling. Last one. And relax. Take a deep breath. As you exhale, take one hand down just below. Hang on a second because I've got a sneeze brewing. Is it going to happen? You know, when you get that tingling? Excuse me, I do apologise. Okay. I didn't want to start adjusting you and then start having a sneezing fit halfway through. So hand just resting on the floor. Split the legs. Other hand turns. We're going to push up to seated. And we're going to come back into seated position. So this time we need to do mermaid on the opposite side. So legs change, the Isle of Man flag again, remember. And if this is uncomfortable, we can be cross-legged or we can do it with our legs straight. So go with what feels right for you. One hand on the side, core nice and strong. Take a deep breath. As you exhale, let us come over, reach in. Using that core to lift you, and obviously we're going to come over to the other side. It's not going to be as big a movement, it's not going to be as big a range, it's going to be much stiffer. And again, we can slide the hand further away, it's going to make it more challenging as we go through the movement. Ooh. I feel like I need new hips this morning as we go through this one. Just remember that lateral breath. Last time. In fact, I'm lying to you. 2 more, sorry. If you want to go a bit further, come down onto the forearm. But make sure you've really got that strength and stability to lift yourself back up through the core. Not letting momentum lift you. If you was using momentum, you'd just kind of swing up. We don't want that. We want that control. Last one. And bring it down. Coming over onto your back again. We're doing imprints and pelvic bridge this time. So you don't want your cushion or your block. But go onto your side. If you know you have an overextension in that neck, you might want a rolled up towel underneath the head to assist you, okay? Take your hands, place them on the ribs at this point. Feet are just beneath the knees. Eyes are looking up. Remember, if they're looking behind, we nod. If we're looking in front, we lift. Core's nice and engaged. Just 4 simple imprints and then we'll move straight into our bridge position. So, tuck the tail under, imprint lower back, mid back, upper back. Upper back releases, mid back releases, lower back releases. So just nice and steady, imprinting and releasing. So we're just doing 4 of these, so 2 more. And last one. And then relax. pelvic bridge. Now it's up to you. You could have your hands on the floor or keep them on the ribs. We use them to pop on our ribs just to be conscious that we're not splaying the rib cage up when we come up into pelvic bridge, because if we are, that means we're coming up too high in our ridge. So it's just a useful tool. So core nice and strong. In to the tailbone, imprint lower back, begin to lift up slow and steady. Bring it down, upper back, mid back, lower. So it's a sequential movement as we go through. Nice and steady. Controlled. Excuse me yawning. I know I'm terrible. Nice and steady. Has anybody got house fatigue? Whether they're fatigued from being in their own home for so long. I love my home, but change of scenery would be nice. Controlled. Nice and steady. Oh, excuse me. So remember, we want to be making sure that we've got that nice diagonal line, knees, hips, shoulders, slowly coming up and down. Last two. Nice and steady. And on the last one, can we take it up and can we just hold it in position? So we take it up, we just hold it there. Core engaged, nice diagonal line. Remember, if I popped a Malteser on your knee and just roll down, you could just catch it with your mouth. Nice and steady. Core strong. Take a deep breath. Begin to lower, mid, lower. So upper, mid, lower. That sequential movement. Feet together, knees together. Gently sway side to side. Remembering you can make that movement bigger or smaller depending on you, the individual. So, bring the feet back to the centre, turn the feet out, turn the heels out. This time, lift both arms up. Now, I'm very conscious I've got a wall to the side of me, okay? So that's going to restrict my movement as we go through this movement. So, palms are facing forward. We bring them over the head. Now again, being conscious that they're not coming too far and you're starting to lift, okay? So if I had them here, I'm lifting, I've got no stability, I've got no control really there. So I'm bringing them back where I've still got stability and control, and then taking them out to create a circle. Obviously this arm's stuck because I've got it all the way. To make a circle and then bringing it back. So it's snow angel arms, okay? So they come over, we make a snow angel, and then bring it back. So as you're going through that movement, be really conscious that you've got control and stability in the shoulder blades, in the spine. You're then bringing them round and back. So making a full circle, unless you've got a wall in the way like myself. So if you have got a wall in the way, or not enough space, just go back to giving the backstroke. Slightly different, because basically we're getting a full rotation, we're getting a different movement going on here. But obviously if you can't manage it with the space you're in, that's fine. Just give me that back and forth. So keep going with that, just for 4. And then 3. And 2. And 1. And roll over onto your side. You're going to need your cushion and your block. I'm just going to push myself up so I'm on the opposite side to last time. So remember, you can be like so, or you can be resting on the cushion or cushion and block, or cushion and cushion, or cushion and handback book. Obviously, this position is more suitable if you've got shoulder issues going on. So we're sitting, oh no, we're not. Ignore me. We're taking our legs in a nice straight line. Got my meditation cushion in the way. Got our legs in a nice straight line. One arm out in front or above the head. We can have one hand on the floor, on the hip, or long. Being conscious we're not rocking the pelvis forward. So what we want is the shoulders stacked, the hips stacked, the knees stacked, the ankles stacked. So the hand on the hip just gives you that little bit more control over what's happening. So let us take a moment. Imagine someone's pulling this leg. They're trying to pull this leg away. We get a little hole in underneath. Flex the foot if you can. Remember, if you've got active sciatica, just keep it normal, that's fine. We're bringing it up and down. Foot and toes are facing forward. There's no rotation there going on. Just nice and controlled. Opposite leg to last time. My legs are feeling tired today, or this leg's feeling tired anyway. So nice and steady. We're breathing in as we lift it up, and it's just coming up to hip height. It's not a particularly big movement. The higher up you go, the more rotation you're going to get in the hip, the less control we've got. Again, it takes us into working different muscles. So inhaling, exhaling. Last 4. 3, 2, and hold this top one. Let's have a circle. So rotating forward in a circle. Nice and steady, controlled. Just for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Feet down. In that position, both feet flexed if we can. Let's lift up for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Top leg pulled away, foot flex, come up, reverse that circle. So we're going the opposite direction. Nice and steady, controlled. Ooh. Just for 4, 3, 2, and 1. And relax. Bend both knees. Oh, as if you're sitting on a chair. Ouch, 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 ouch. Give it a rub, give it a pat. This time, if you've not got the arm in this position and the head resting on the cushion, then you're going to need to adjust so you're in this position. Hands on top of one another. Be conscious that you're not rolling the spine over, shoulders over. We want them stacked on top of one another. Knees are on top, ankles are below the knees, as if we're sitting on that chair. Bow and arrow. We just pull it back and then bring it forward. So pulling it back. Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling. Excuse me, scratching my nose. Exhaling. Last 2. And last 1. And relax. Nice and gently. We're going to gently roll onto our fronts this time. So one hand across, lower the arm. Gently push yourself up. You're going to want to pop your cushion and block just out in front. And we're coming over onto our fronts. So to begin with, hands just resting in front and the forehead's just resting on the back of the hands. If that's uncomfortable in your shoulders, you can always take a cushion underneath your forehead or your block. Feet are hip distance apart. Just trying to move my little meditation cushion away. So feet are hip distance apart, core is engaged, both hips are pressing into the floor. If we have no sciatica issues, we're going to point our toes. We're going to draw them up. So bend them at 90 degrees, flex the feet, point, and then take them down. So very similar to what we did at the beginning with one leg at a time. So up, flex, point, and down. But if you remember at the beginning, which feels a while ago now, we kept the feet pointed. So nice and steady. Inhaling, Exhale as it comes down. So control. Up, flex, point, down. Up, flex, point, down. Up, flex, point, down. Up, flex, point, down. Last 3. Up, point, flex, down. Up, point, flex, down. Last 2. Up, point, flex, down. And relax. Very gently, just take your head in one direction for a moment, let it settle there for a moment. Breathing deeply, breathing peacefully. And very gently tip the head in the opposite direction. Hold it there. And come back to the centre. Slowly, this is where you might want your cushion, just for the comfort of your forehead. Elbows want to be beneath your shoulders, hands just by the side. All we're going to do is lift the head, a little bit of the chest, neck, eyes are looking down, and then bring it down. So we inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Inhale. Last 3. The last one. And then relax. Very gently draw one foot towards your bottom and taking a hold of the back of the leggings, the sock or the foot, just hold it there for a moment. So getting that stretch into the front of the thighs. Ooh, I've got very tight thighs today. Nice and strong. Just feeling that into the quadriceps. Maybe a little bit into the hip flexors at the top of the thighs, maybe not. Gently release, change over. Remember, we can always use a strap, or if you've got a circle at home, maybe you'll be using a circle. And hold it there. Keeping those hips gently pressing towards the mat. Pelvic floor's engaged, abdominal connection going on. We need a new body today, I think. Take a deep breath. As you exhale, let that leg relax. Very gently tuck your toes under. Lift the chest ever so slightly. Roll one arm underneath. So one forearm comes underneath. Roll onto your side. Hand on the floor. Bend one knee, bend the other. Slight split in those bends. Push up to seated position. We're going to stretch our hamstrings. So you can, if you want to, put a block or a cushion underneath your bottom for this. Or just take a line, okay? So remember, if you're on a cushion or a block, soft part of your bum on the block, bones of the bum at the edge. So, legs wide, shoulder blades back and down, just rest your hands on your knees. Really important as we do this, we keep that chest open, take a deep breath. Exhale, slowly slide forward, hold it here for a moment. So we've got that lift going on, shoulder blades are back and down. And you're going to feel it into the inner thigh and the back of the hamstrings. Take a deep breath, a little bit more. Just hold it there. I can certainly feel my breakfast this morning. Just keep looking outside, it's looking very windy, very grey. take a deep breath. Exhale, slowly come up. Let's come onto all fours. So as we come onto all fours, I've got a feeling my head's going to go out shot, so I apologise. Walk your hands back, toes tucked under. Let us begin. Sorry. It's just part of like wearing leggings, isn't it? You have to have an adjustment at a certain point. So gently swing those arms. We've been on the floor a while. Do, 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 do. And then very gently let the hands relax. Think about which side is weaker, stronger, right or left or right, right or left, left. So take one leg out, weaker leg preferably. Toes tucked under gives you assist. Flat to floor makes it harder. Remembering, if this is an uncomfortable position for you to come up from, then you just come up in a fashion that is right and safe for you. We can always use chairs and assistants to go through this as well. So let's inhale, lift. Exhale. Feet hip distance apart. Sassy walk it out. Just swing it out, nice and steady. And then relax. Roll your shoulders up. Ooh. And relax in the other way. Ooh, I can't help but make noises. Tailbone tucked under, pelvic floor in place. Juicy peach under the chin. And you're all ready for the rest of your day. So well done. And so next week, I know this past 2 weeks I've done both sessions being floor based, so don't worry, next week will be upright, although there will be some floor based activities as well. So take care, see you soon, hopefully, bye.